Well, hey there. I told you guys I was going to eventually do a tour of our first world that ended up over time becoming the family play world. This world started just as a single player game. It was the first world that I had, and my builds were very, very small, and they actually still are. I'm kind of more of a survival kind of person rather than a creative kind of person. Now I've got myself in creative right now because I want to be able to do some flying and show you some of the things that we've done. But for the most part, what you see in this world was all done in creative, or in survival, and the materials were all sourced the old-fashioned way. Oh no! I think I've just been photobombed by a pork chop. Oh well. Alright, well, let's get going. This is actually my first house. The story is that I came into the world and I could not survive for nothing. It was just terrible. I cannot tell you how many times I died and by what methods I died. But this was the very first thing that I ever built in Minecraft, was this little tower. I think I had kind of a castle thing going on. And see if I can get down here. There we go. And there was Mama's Mineshaft. There was a cave system underneath this house that I actually fell into, and I died so many times. And then of course, because spawn was so far off, I couldn't find where I had been, and so I actually lost this place. I lost several places, but this was the first one I built. This was the first time I went down into the caves, and I tried my best to do what I could to survive in here, but I'll tell you, I bombed several times. This was my first attempt at a little tree farm. And then down here, I cannot tell you how many times I died in lava. Our little underground area here. This was actually a really interesting cave. This here was my very first exposure to death by dungeon, and it was really tragic. I kept getting wiped out by these zombies until I figured out what was happening. Like I said, it was my very very first world, or first place. Yeah, and my first world actually. So let's get out of here. Not really a whole lot to see. Looks like those trees finally popped. But yeah, this was the very first one, and that's bedrock. You can see down there I dug all the way to bedrock. I was so proud of myself. Stone tools. All this was just done with stone tools. So let's get on out of here. And yeah, this was home for a while. And then before I had I should probably pick up those pork chops. I hate when something dies in vain. Let's see, where was I? Yep, very first building, and then I died. And it was before I understood about the bed. So I respawned way over here. My little piggy farm. And I find that I liked the jungle biome. These are some of Steve's roads. We'll get to that. I'm trying not to show his build right now because he's very different. His builds are very different from mine. Okay, coming into some interesting mixed areas here. Oh, so this is my second dwelling. When I died without a bed, I ended up spawning back over at spawn, which is not too far from here. And after a lot of running around trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I ended up digging in right here. and I immediately found huge clumps of iron and all kinds of good stuff. So I went ahead and I dug in right here, and I built a new mine because I could not find the other one. And so this was my second attempt on this world at creating a base, and just such a noob. It was just painful. My son just didn't even want to watch me. It didn't turn out too bad for just a basic shelter. Now you can see our mushroom experiment over there. But once I got established enough to where I had the materials and the resources to do it, I went ahead and I created this house here. And this was my first, actual house that I was kind of proud of. I know it's not much by certain standards, but it was sure a step up from the little cobblestone fortress that I had done before. So this is kind of my building style. I call this one Elf House, and I just really love the stone slabs and the pine wood combo. And this texture pack it feels like it was almost built for this type of construction style. It's really pretty. And as you can see, there's little towers over there with torches on them. I did everything to try and make it to where I wouldn't forget my way home. This house has the killing pits, which is kind of cool. Come in here. Oh, well, do I dare take a volunteer? Well, you're not going to get out of there anytime soon. Whoops, I forgot I had flame on there. Anyhow, creepers, other mobs, they come down here. They get stuck in the pits, and then one whack and they're gone. And this was my first attempt at a home defense system, and it worked really well. I was really happy with it. This is a system that I actually learned by watching Paul Sora's videos, and it goes all the way around the house. And then I'm not going to bother closing that. Have a couple different lists. Actually, 4 stories in this house. There's a little storage area down here. I had tried to grow mushrooms, but they weren't cooperating. So, and then there's the ladder. I've always had trouble with ladders. Nice room. Got a patio out here, and a view of the mushrooms that we experimented with and actually finally got to grow. That was that was a lot of fun too. I'm not too worried about bad guys on this server because ultimately we did upload this to a server and we made it a peaceful world. I never really did finish the upper layer of this place because I died. Can you believe I built all of this and I didn't know about beds? And so sure enough, I died and I lost this entire build. I was so frustrated, I almost quit playing Minecraft at that point. And I will show you where I ended up next. My hubby's built all these roads. Just amazing how much effort he's put into the roads. These things just go on forever, and I'll show you his builds in a separate video, but I think this one's probably okay. So here is where I ended up when I lost my house the second time. I was really depressed. I was about ready to give up. I'm glad I didn't though, because after building a little area here, I got some reeds growing and made actually a staircase up to the side of this hill. And I'll tell you that none of this was here before. I'll show you actually what was here. Most of this was built after I loaded this world to the server and my son started to join me in the game. But this was all there was when I first started this. It was just this room and this room. And that was it. One thing that I did was I came out here and I built this patio right here so that I could oversee. This area out here is very pretty if it would ever load up. And then that was it. That was really all that I did. I just kind of started over. But when my son joined us, he and I built this beautiful mountaintop castle. Isn't that beautiful? So this took a long time. This was all built in regular. Oh gracious, what happened here, Steve?
I have no idea. What is it?
It is somebody died in here. I wonder if Steve came in here and died and then gave up. That's just so friggin' bizarre. That's just weird. Well,
This is all his stuff floating.
I don't think I had any of this. I don't know what all. Protection 3, fire protection, bed. Ooh, fortune 3. I almost wonder if he came in here and died. That's just bizarre. Logged off and quit. I don't know how much of this is his. Wow. So this is interesting. I'm glad I saw this here. You know, I'm going to have to check the server logs and see if somebody else might have logged in. Because I do not recall. I mean, it's a whitelisted server, so. It does seem kind of weird. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check this out really quick. That's weird. No. Daddy's asking me if he needs to log off. So anyhow, all of this stone, we actually, this was all done with in survival. Yeah, that's really strange. I have no idea why that would have occurred. I'll have to ask Stevie and see if he came in and fell off the tower and then just said the heck with it. But this is the beginning of a cathedral that we're building. I thought it was very pretty. And this is the great room. We have not yet furnished, clearly. But yeah, I'll have Stevie's, this was Steve's design for the chandeliers. And then these are the barracks. Not really a whole lot in here. We're still doing a lot of thinking about how we want the design of this place to go. And then an open area down to the patio that I first showed you. And then this is a recent addition here, this secondary large room. We haven't really decided what we want to do yet with all of this, but this was definitely a lot of work, and the majority of this was built on survival, which is just amazing. Cool, huh? Alright. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the video now. Next part of the tour, we're going to see if we can get Papa to come in here and show off some of his builds and the roads. And there's a couple of really interesting caverns that we found that you might be interested in seeing. But for now, I'll see you later. So we're back to the first little house I built. There's a little irony in us being back here, because this area over here hadn't really been developed. But once I learned about maps and jungle tree, maps and beds and all that other stuff, I decided that I really wanted to do something a little bit different. And I found a pattern, I guess you'd call it, online for a little house called Cozy Cottage, and I just really loved it. I thought it was really cool. And so this is the house that I moved into before we actually expanded that whole castle area. So this is my main little area here that I spend most of my time in now. I just love it. And this is the Cozy Cottage, and I know everybody's built the Cozy Cottage, but this one's mine, which makes it cool. And this is it. Oh, there's a story behind the cobweb. I'll tell you about it another time. But this is my main digs on this server. I know there's big fancy buildings on it now. Steve has been building some amazing things. But this is really where I tend to hang out. I kind of like just the little house. Down below here I've got my enchanting room, and of course, because I share this server now with my family, I've got these signs which only people who wouldn't touch anyhow actually listen, but otherwise I get raided by my kid. I've been raided. But my brewing stand, I don't make a lot of potions. Make some. And we've been in the Nether a lot, as you can see. And yeah, those are actually caught blaze rods. I didn't cheat in any of this stuff here. Lots of armor. We've been playing on this server for, I think, a year now. But this world was actually started closer to 2 years ago as my single player. But this is my favorite spot on the whole server, is just little Cozy Cottage. I just love it. My melon farm makes you dizzy. My doggies. You know, I've had these guys for I don't know how long, and I've never named them. I can't think of a name for them. But yeah, this is, that thing always gives me the chills. Little area here for hanging out. I think that came out really nice. This is clay in this texture pack, and I really like it for flooring. And then this is the little train station I built. Works really well. Whoops. Got a little minecart dispenser. Works great. Whenever anybody has an extra, they just put it back. It's the honor system. Oops. There we go. I was afraid I was gonna not be able to do this. And then in the next episode, I want to talk about this little bridge right here. There's some special significance to this little bridge, and I'll explain. It might not look like much of a bridge, but this little tiny section of bridge right here, I was struggling with a design concept. How did I want to do this? And my hubby came and joined me with some really good ideas, and he actually helped me build my first little section of road and this bridge. And at that point, he was pretty well hooked, and he joined us on the server, and I started the server, and he was able to join us, and I'll show you some of his builds next. They're just actually put my builds to shame. but he's really good, and he's got some great ideas, and I wish he had more time to play, because he's just made absolutely gorgeous builds on this server. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and let you go, and next time we'll go over some of Rocker Dude's builds. They're just gorgeous. Talk to you later.